Welcome back, everybody. I'm Matt, and this is Flatlandrelics. This week, I'll show you a couple shop upgrades, like that. We got light in the back room. Oh, wait. We have a back room. That wasn't there last year. New toolbox setup. Got the bookshelf back with all the manuals. Most importantly, I got the car inside and the truck inside. And I'm really stoked about that. I don't like the stuff sitting outside. So yeah. Still got to find a place for all those garnish moldings. Set up some new shelvings that are a little more convenient. Put some stuff up high that I don't need every day. And made a nice big heavy duty shelf for when I do teardowns. I can put all my parts right there. The old Pennsville sign. And here's the frame. So I'm still tearing down this chassis. And in tonight's video, I'm going to take the transfer case off. I pull that lever assembly off. Drop both the drive shafts and pull the transfer case. First, I do a little cleaning, though. That long black wire is the speedometer cable. I was gonna pull it off the transfer case to make everything a little easier, but it's not exactly in the way. It's just a pain in the butt because it's really long. So I just left it on there. I didn't feel like dealing with it at the time. This lever assembly is attached in 3 places. One of them is the e-brake handle. I think the other one's the high-low shifter. So those just have like a dowel pin with a cotter pin to hold the dowel in. So you just got to pop the cotter pins and back out the dowel pin, and then you're good to go to just take those off their mounting point. This transfer case is a pretty simple setup. There are 2 bolts that go through the bracket into the transfer case. I believe they're 3/4. And then there are 2 bolts on this side that go through the bracket into the transfer case. I'm taking the transfer case out of both brackets because the 2 bolts that hold the bracket to the cross member on this passenger side, they are going to be really hard to get to, so might as well just drop the transfer case first and then wait, you know what? Maybe I should drain this thing. I never even thought of that. Yeah, let's drain it first. Let's see if there's anything in there. There might be, there might not. You never know with these old trucks. And drum roll, please. Yeah, never mind that. I don't know if this has 2 chambers, but it does have 2 drain plugs. So I pulled out this driver's side one first, and absolutely nothing. I'll just finagle that back in there. Let's see if I have better luck on this. So here I'm just using a ratchet extension. I think it was 1/2-inch drive or 3/8. It's like one of those indented square sort of sockets. This wasn't extremely tight, which was good. Neither of them were rusted in. It's got a little something in it. It's not exactly where the water flows like wine, but it's definitely, it's got some fluid. I think all said and done, this thing drains about 2 cups worth of very, very old stinky gear oil. And it's pretty thick. So here I'm just planning my attack for how to pull this front drive shaft off. Not sure if this is the propeller shaft or if that's the one that goes to the winch. This is basically the drive shaft going to the front differential. So there's, excuse me, there's a bolt on each side, and on both sides of each bolt, there's like a safety washer. So you have to kind of pry a chisel in there or something sort of sharp, and you have to fold that safety washer back. You might break the tab off when you do that, depending upon whether that's been taken on or off a few times and the metal's already weak. I think I broke 2 or 3 of them doing this. But you got to move that out of the way in order to get the socket on completely. Otherwise, you'll just round off the top of the nut. So be sure when you go in to get those strap bolts off that you check and see if those washers are there. And if they are, bend that little tab out of the way. I just used like a cheap gasket scraper tool and it worked really good. There should be a bolt and a strap on each side of the cross, like universal joint. Here's a close-up of that washer. See how it has 2 tabs that fold up and 2 that fold the other direction? It's made so the washer stays seated correctly and doesn't spin. I imagine it's like an old school safety washer. I was just gently tapping the gasket scraper in between the hold down nut and that little tab. And you'll feel it start to go. I think one of them had actually just like completely obliterated it, just like bent it and then cut it off. It's not the hardest metal, so it's easy to get them out of the way. So coming up here, you see me clean the old grease out that pushed through, and that's a good sign. You want to hit your grease fittings and run the old grease out, and if you can do that, then you know nothing's clogged up, and you stand a better chance of pulling stuff apart. It does help. It's something you want to consider. Even though you're going to tear it down, everything's got to get cleaned up and painted. You really don't want to put a ton of grease. It's almost like a waste, but it tells you like the condition of the part. So that's definitely something you want to think about when you're, underneath these trucks, or even if it's going to be parked for a while. Just grease the thing. That way, later on when you go to pull it apart, it'll actually be able to come apart. And here, you can see this slip yoke kind of slides a little bit, probably because it had grease and it never really got a chance to stick. And that's helpful. You don't have to sit there and pry on that like crazy and then break something or completely crush that universal. Having never removed one of these transfer cases, I knew it was heavy. I knew it was upwards of 100 pounds. You can see I put like an emergency strap around it just to help out. I knew the jack wasn't like centered under or wasn't going to take the weight evenly. Both things together kind of worked out. But you'll see I do struggle a little bit with the strap. It didn't slide as easy as I thought it would. You'll notice that very shortly here. I wasn't sure how the load was going to balance on the block and the jack either. So what I do is I pull out one nut on each side, or one bolt on each side, I should say. And then you could feel when you go to back the other bolt out, it feels a little heavier on the bolt. It's a little harder to get it out. And that's because it's starting to take the weight. So you just got to take your time with this kind of stuff. Don't pull both bolts out of one side right away, because then you're putting a lot of tension on the other side. And just kind of mess with your jack and lift the transfer case up a little bit as you loosen bolts, and then you'll notice you can back that bolt out a lot easier because there's no tension on the thread. There's no like tinsel tension on the thread. So here, just for safety's sake, this transfer case is heavy. It's nearly 100 pounds. Stay out from underneath it. Keep your hands out from there. Keep your fingers and toes out from there. It could definitely damage you if it lands on you. You can see I have it on the jack. It's kind of like unbalanced, but you can also see when I lower the jack, the strap does take most of the weight. That's just like a regular ratchet strap, so I know it'll hold 100 pounds, no problem. Here I'm just trying to do like a combination of adjust the jack and then undo my little slip knot on the strap and try and ease them down together. It didn't work out as gracefully as I was hoping, but I do manage to get it down with a little adjustment of each item little by little. I can't emphasize enough here, take your time, be safe. I mean, this probably would have been smarter for me to get help, but I do a lot of stuff alone, so I just use other fail safes. And here you see I'm trying to get the strap to like adjust and loosen and go down like I was hoping, and it's not doing it because of the way I kind of put the strap around the cross member there. But I knew it would hold, so you got to kind of, it's one or the other, I wanted to make sure it was definitely going to be safe, so I didn't get the nice smooth slide that I thought I would get. Or you can just get a transmission jack like a normal mechanic, but no, I'm going to do it the hardest way possible. Here I was able to just kind of prop it up a little bit. I just didn't want it to drop. I didn't want to break the case. I didn't want to break any of those universal brackets sticking out of the front or the back. I didn't want to break any of the e-brake parts. Parts for these trucks can get a little pricey, so anything that's savable or salvageable, I try to do that. And for me, that's a success. Anytime you're working on a big, like multi-year project, small victories are the path. It's one little goal at a time. I also like to just put bolts back. I always say this. If you can just put bolts back where they were, then you don't have to find them later. And if you can remember exactly what hole they went in, sometimes that's helpful. I figured these were all the same length, and they were, so I'm not too concerned over what hole they came out of. But if I can just put them back, I don't have to look for them later. I don't have to waste time bagging and tagging them. Here, come over here and we'll take a closer look. Oh, she's a beaut. It looks complete, which is good. Cross member's good. Brackets are good. I'll pull those brackets. That's just another 4 bolts, and looks like it had like isolators on each side of the bolt. I finally went ahead and just cut all the brake lines and old wiring off the frame. And then took a little time and just scraped all the dirt and grease and grime off of there. And to me, it just looks so much nicer and cleaner like that. I'm happy to see that. So yeah, that's this week's episode. Thanks for watching. Transfer case is out, and like I said, it's a small victory. Still got plenty of stuff to pull off the frame before we get into either wire wheeling or sandblasting the frame. I might try and get the frame sandblasted or maybe do it myself. We'll see how this goes. Yeah, got to pull the rear soon, get all the brackets off. There's still a ton of brackets. I keep walking into them and stabbing my legs. You know, need to get the leaf springs off, but cleanup came out good. Noticed 1 or 2 little spots of rust. I might just have to fix that up. Little drip spots on the frame, but nothing that can't be managed. So yeah, thanks for watching. That's this week's episode. See you on the next one.